Hello, governor. For all you fancy people out there, all you kings and queens, this is Lobster Royale dip. The creme de la creme. It uses amazing French cheeses, luxurious roasted or grilled lobster, and it all folds together to be the ultimate appetizer. If you want to impress somebody, I mean, wars have been stopped over this dish. This is Lobster Royale dip. So, Lobster Royale is so called because it uses lobster, obviously. You can use grilled or roasted lobster. We've got 2 whole lobsters that we roasted and chopped up. And the Royale part because it is just super luxe. It's like the bougie of bougie dips. So we're using all of the most glorious cheeses. All right, you need a good sturdy mixing bowl. We're using metal because while this dip can't be beat, we're actually gonna beat it with some beaters. So the first thing we do is kind of mix up the cheese course, the first part of the cheese course. What we're using is mascarpone. Now this is like cream cheese, but it's a little bit more bougie, a little bit more fancy, a little bit sweeter, and a little bit creamier, but it's basically the same type of product. You can buy it in the same type of tub. You want this to be out around room temperature. A half cup of sour cream. Sour cream when you're baking stuff and mayonnaise are both really good ingredients that create a creaminess. A lot of people that you know, and I know, are like, oh, I don't like mayo, but yet they love things that have mayonnaise in it. This is one of those dishes. Speaking of the mayonnaise, put a 1/3 cup of mayonnaise in there too. Now we're really ramping it up. The next cheese is Bellwether Carmody cheese. This is a goat cheddar cheese. It's super sharp, like you should wear gloves for it, but it also is like this beautiful smoothness that's gonna melt perfectly, both in the oven and in your mouth. M&M's, they got nothing on this cheese. From there, we've got 2 tablespoons of our own Cajun seasoning, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And a lot of people also are like, I don't like mustard, but they like this because it's a great ingredient. It creates a sharpness that will contrast against a lot of sweet, creamy things. That's why it appears in so many different dishes. Now, a half teaspoon of cayenne pepper. What this does is provide some heat, but not enough where you're gonna notice it, more so to balance everything out. A little bit of spice in the cooking process doesn't make things too hot, but it often creates a better way to appreciate the other flavors. So fold it up a little bit. Now, we're gonna beat things up. Take a beater and get it a smooth consistency across it. Now, it's time to keep up leveling the royal part of this. We're putting in all our lobster in here so we can fold that in, but what we're also gonna fold in is 8 ounces of brie cheese. This creates this really glamorous, cosmopolitan feel in the mouth and joy in the taste buds. So we've got our brie in there, we cut the rinds off and just chopped it up. We're gonna put in about 4 chopped scallions, and we're gonna start mixing this thing together too, and just keep folding it over itself. But as you fold it, it's gonna start to be blending evenly. You're gonna see some big chunks in there. That's okay, we're not worried about that yet. Preheat your oven to 350, spray down a pie pan, and while I'm spooning up this mixture into here, I wanna tell you a story. The first time we made this lobster dip, we found a little bit of a cool idea online and kind of ran with it, kind of vibed with it, was before a Dave Matthews concert. And it was raining out, and we were partying before the concert at my house. And we made this dip, and we were debating, do we go to the show or not? Spoiler alert, we went to the show and it was awesome, but this dip was the star of the show. So now we've got this into our pan, but it's not done yet. What we have left is 6 to 8 ounces of shredded gruyere, cave aged, beautiful cheese. Then we're gonna top it with a little bit of green onions. The last thing we do is we sprinkle on a little bit more of our Cajun seasoning. We like the color, and that brings a little bit of a salty, fiery pop to this awesome, awesome dish. So now we're gonna put it in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes until it starts melting evenly. So let's put it in. Since I was a little boy, my mom always told me about how luxurious lobster was, taught me how to cook it. This dish, right, after it sits, you've taken out of the oven, let it sit between 7 and 10 minutes because it'll get a little bit more solidified, but this is also a dip too. As much as we love tortilla chips, they're not strong enough for this. Now you at home, me too, we're strong enough for this dip, but we gotta use pitas. When you dip, I dip, we dip. This is the dip set, the dippiest, the luxurious, bougiest dip you are ever gonna make. Lobster Royale dip, Spatchcock Funk.